He could veto this bill, but there's almost unanimous support for it in Congress. That means that even if he did veto it, Congress could override the veto. That would then be a big loss of face for Donald Trump. He probably doesn't want that. So he might have no choice except to back this legislation, because after all, he doesn't need a breakdown in relations with Congress. He still needs Congress for health care, for tax reform, and a whole load of other measures. Now, he may, of course, for practical reasons, therefore, pass this bill, but that doesn't mean to say that he agrees with Congress that Russian hackers intervened in the election. We still have very much these two diverging narratives in Washington. One, the mainstream view on Capitol Hill, as expressed by these lawmakers, that Russia interfered in the elections. That's what they're saying. And, of course, the Trump administration itself, which is periodically casting doubt on that, and most recently that was done a few days ago by Anthony Scaramucci, his new communications director.
Now, there's a thread of this story that very much concerns those of us here in Europe. We are talking about American sanctions on Russia. However, Europe is waving a red flag about all this. Can you explain why?
Well, Europe is worried that US sanctions could hurt European companies, energy companies that have dealings with Russian entities, and Germany is a key player in this. Just today, a German industrial association said that if it came to these sanctions actually being applied, and if they did end up hurting EU energy companies, then the EU should respond in kind. So basically what this industrial association is talking about is reciprocal sanctions on US companies. That's a hardline view which is actually not shared in all European capitals. For example, in Warsaw, there's no appetite for a rift with the Trump administration. There's also no appetite in Warsaw and other Eastern European capitals for more energy dependence on Russia. So the challenge now for EU leaders is to find unity within the European Union on this issue of the sanctions, and also at the same time to avoid any rift between Europe and the United States, because the worry among EU leaders in Brussels is that any such rift is simply going to benefit Russia.